Hello everyone, welcome to Raj Malhotra's IAS study group. Welcome to our next part of practice series in which we are going to discuss some questions of previous year papers, and these questions will be typically based on comprehension. As we have seen in the earlier two lectures that we had solved different kind of questions, like there were questions based on inferences, there were questions based on assumptions as well. Today we have a practice session type of thing in which we are going to provide a question to you as well at the end of the lecture, so that you can practice that question and understand the level of question. Where do you stand in the in solving that type of questions or that comprehension question? So before we start the session, let me tell you one thing, that every day at 5 p.m. this lecture is premiered on our YouTube channel. So if you like the content of this lecture and it is useful for you, please do like, share it with your friends, and if you're new to the YouTube channel, do subscribe our YouTube channel. Okay, so let's start today's session, in which we are going to discuss a type of passage or a type of question that we got in CSAT 2018 exam. So this passage is typically based on geography portion. You can say that geography and environment. So what it says a diversity of natural assets will be needed to cope with climate change and ensure productive agriculture, forestry and fisheries. For example, crop varieties are needed that perform well under drought, heat and enhanced CO2. So they're talking about how you can cope with the climate change. Now from the next line they have mentioned, but the private sector and farmer led process of choosing crops favoring homogeneity adapted to past or current conditions, not varieties capable of producing consistently high yields in warmer, wetter or conditions. Clear? So they have mentioned a different set of thing, but the private sector and farmer led process of choosing क्रॉप्स फेवरिंग होमोजीनिटी. क्लियर? तो वो पास्ट और करंट की सिचुएशन को तो कर रहा है, लेकिन आगे जाकर के जो वार्मर, ठीक है, वेटर कंडीशंस हैं, उनको फेवर नहीं कर रहा है. ये चीज हमें थोड़ी सी समझनी पड़ेगी. नाउ फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट लाइन दे हैव मेंशन्ड एक्सेलरेटेड breeding dryer programs are needed to conserve a wider pool of genetic resources of existing crops, breeds and their wild relatives. Relatively intact ecosystems such as forested catchments, mangroves, wetlands can buffer the impacts of climate change under a changing climate. Now this will be an important lines. Please you can focus on that more, you can say that rather than the whole passage. These ecosystems are themselves at risk. So here we have mentioned that these ecosystems are already at risk and management approaches will be more proactive and adaptive. So managing these ecosystems. Connections between natural areas such as migration corridors may be needed to facilitate species movements to keep up with the change in climate. Clear? This was the whole short story of the passage. You can say that in that passage we have mentioned some type of suggestions how we can cope with climate change. So let's look at the question that they have given us. With the reference to the above passage, which of the following would assist us in coping with the climate change? Would assist us, कौन सी चीज ऐसी है जो हमें हेल्प करेगी ताकि हम क्लाइमेट चेंज का सामना कर सकें? यही चीज उसने कही है. पहली स्टेटमेंट, कंजर्वेशन ऑफ नेचुरल वाटर रिसोर्सेस फ्रॉम नेचुरल एसेट्स, वी कैन से दैट यस दैट विल बी करेक्ट. क्लियर? तो पहला जो ऑप्शन है दैट इज करेक्ट. कंजर्वेशन ऑफ वाइडर जीन पूल, यस इट वाज मेंशन्ड हियर, वाइडर पूल ऑफ जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेस. Wider pool of genetic resources, yes, this is also correct. So 1, 2. Next, existing crop management practices. We haven't seen this type of thing in the passage yet, but we do not have a negative content on that, so let's put that on hold. We are putting this option on hold. Migration corridors, yes, this was correct. Now we are left with two options, three options which can be correct, 1, 2 and 3. Sorry, not this one, because this doesn't have 4. So this one and this one. Clear? Third is also eliminated. Now in that case we have to check the third option from the passage itself. Passage बहुत easy है, लैंग्वेज बहुत अच्छी है, क्वेश्चन भी समझ में आ गया. नाउ फ्रॉम द ऑप्शंस हमें थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्टी फील हो रही है. ठीक है, थोड़ी सी डिफिकल्टी फील हो रही है क्योंकि थर्ड स्टेटमेंट हमें नहीं मिला है. लेट्स जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड द ऑन विच पार्ट द passage suggested to manage these things or manage something. Now we have, if we talk about from here, wetlands can buffer under a climate. These ecosystems are now they have mentioned managing these ecosystems rather than existing crops. Clear? So this option will be incorrect. This option will be incorrect. What will be the correct option? Second, 1, 2 and 4. Now this type of confusion can happen in questions. So don't be so eager to choose that option, even having a statement on hold. You can say that simply. Clear? I hope you have got this question. And let's check out the analysis of this passage. If you look at the passage's language was familiar, clear, but if you look at the length of the passage, it was to moderate type of passage, medium level of words have been used in the passage, number of words. Now the level of question was of level 3. Tough. Why tough? Because there were many number of statements given in the passage. Clear? There were 4 statements out of which we have to choose the correct one, and in that we have to use the elimination method and we have to go back into the passage as well. So in that context, the question level, I'll consider it a level 3 question. Clear? And if you are having a less amount of time, then you can also skip it rather than to solve this question and putting a amount of time, rather than you can skip this question. Clear? So let's check out the next passage that we have. After this passage you will get a different passage for you to practice. You have to solve that question and you have to answer the correct option in the comments. Clear? Let's check out this passage. Now this passage has a, you can say that, shorter length than the earlier one. Today the top environmental challenge is a combination of people and their aspirations. If aspirations are more like the frugal ones we had after the Second World War, a lot more is possible than if we view the planet as a giant shopping mall. Clear? Giant shopping mall. याद रखिएगा, we need to get beyond the fascination with glitter and understand that the planet works as a biological system. So here they have mentioned that we are looking at Earth as a giant shopping mall. We don't have to look the earth like that. We have to get a beyond view. We have to look beyond the materialistic behavior of ourselves. Clear? This was the main crux of the passage, if you have seen it. Now from the passage, let's move on to the question. Which of the following is the most crucial and logical inference that can be made from the above passage? Just pause it here and try to solve the question before I give the answer. Clear? So this says the earth can meet only the basic needs of humans for food, clothing and shelter. Yes, this can be true, but we have to look for other options as well. Now second option, the only way to meet environmental challenge is to limit human population. Now in that passage, in that whole story of passage, we haven't mentioned that we have to limit the human population to some extent or completely. So we are not going to choose this as our answer. Now reducing our consumerism, which was related to materialism. So is very much in our own interest. Yes, this is true, because this was mentioned in terms of shopping mall, as well as the fascination with glitter, and understand that the planet works as a biological system, suggests that we are looking to our planet as merely as a consumer, that we are a consumer and we have to take things out of that mall. Clear? So this can be true. Now last option that is there, knowledge of biological systems are, can only help us save this planet. We have knowledge of biological system, but this option, you can say, that is extreme in nature. There are certain other ways which can help us save the planet, so we don't have to choose this as our correct answer. So based on the facts given, based on the information given in the passage, we can directly say that C option will be the most suitable option that can be our answer. That we have to reduce our consumerism, we have to reduce the things that we absorb from the planet, we have to give it more rather to take it. Clear? I hope this is clear. ये समझ में आ गया होगा easily. ज़्यादा मुश्किल पैसेज नहीं था, लेंथ भी छोटी थी, और क्वेश्चन भी आपने किया था जो कि हमने सीरीज़ के शुरू में ही इन्फेरेंस से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस किए थे. तो आई थिंक कि आपको थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया इसके बारे में लग गया होगा कि इन्फेरेंस के क्वेश्चंस को कैसे निकालना है. क्लियर? अब आगे बढ़ते हैं भाई. ठीक है, ये रहा एनालिसिस ऑफ द पैसेज. इफ यू लुक एट द टॉपिक ऑफ द पैसेज, दिस वाज इजी. This was easy, the length was short, and we can easily find out the answers because there was only 4 statements out of which we have to choose one. In the earlier passage that we have seen or we have solved, there were 4 statements and we have to take care of all those 4 statements while choosing the correct answer. So in that case, question level was of L1. Clear? Question level was of L1. It was an easier question, doable as well. Now let's come to the practice part of yours. Next passage, you have to solve it. You have to comment your answer in the comment sections after solving it. You have to solve it very carefully. Just pause it and try to solve. Okay? This is the passage that you need to solve. This is the question that has been given. It is from 2018 CSAT. and अगर आपको ये लेक्चर अच्छा लगा है तो लाइक ज़रूर करिए, अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करिए, और अगर आप नए हैं हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल पर तो डू सब्सक्राइब आवर यूट्यूब चैनल. नेक्स्ट सीरीज़ में मिलते हैं, नेक्स्ट पार्ट में मिलते हैं आपके. चलिए ठीक है जी, देन थैंक यू गाइज, थैंक यू वेरी मच.